Hello everyone, my name is Loco and welcome back to City Skylines After Dark. Today we're gonna continue our beautiful city of Lowkopia, and as always I will be playing for about an hour, but I'm gonna be editing out all of the boring parts so you don't have to sit through it. So in the last episode we created a bunch of really nice places, and currently there's a massive demand for residential zones. I also started off with Hemlock Square, which you guys pointed out should be called as the Hatchery. So we'll see if we'll make a new district this episode as well. But so far we got Pylon Park, obviously a StarCraft 2 reference. And now we also have the Hatchery. One thing that we got going on right here with the Hatchery is that people are complaining that there are not enough workers. And there's also a massive need for residential zones. Now this is actually kind of weird. Because, you know, there's a lot of residential zones that aren't really being used all that much here yet. So we may actually have to extend this slightly or something like that. Or maybe we're just gonna like replace a massive part here with actually I think that's gonna be our best bet. Instead of like I was gonna build more residential zones, but I think we may be better off just like removing this and then adding in a residential zone here instead. I think that may be a little bit smarter, so people will be able to move in here. Because we're both not having enough workers and we're also not having enough residential zone, it turns out. I think what we're gonna do though, either way, is actually expand this area that we got going on right here. So I'm thinking about making this road a little bit longer right here and making the hatchery just a little bit bigger in general. So this one is, I don't exactly know how long I made that. I think that's, yeah, I think that's like 3 like that. So we'll make it just as big in this direction if we can. Actually, I think we're gonna make it a little smaller. There we go. So I just expanded the hatchery quite a bit. I removed the road right there at the top, but instead I made the curve a little bit, a little more subtle. And that way, I think we can actually just make sure that we optimize the amount of ground that we got going on over here that is, you know, meant for farming. Because if we have a quick look at the natural resources right here, yeah, most of this is great for farmland, and the other bits right here at the bottom are not that good for it. So I think this is better like this. So what I'll do is actually remove the residential zone from there and move those all towards the bottom. I wonder if people get upset whenever I remove their houses like this. They probably do, but we don't hear them complain, so it's all good. I would be a very bad mayor, I think. So there we go. I haven't zoned in everything, but I have zoned in most of it. And now the only thing left to do is add in a whole bunch of trees. Which is very important, obviously. We're gonna make sure that we have these big-ass trees going on. And I think we're also gonna add some bike lanes here and there. Now, I couldn't actually add in bike lanes very easily. So what I've done instead, because the bike lanes look a little different, but what I've done instead is add in these gravel paths pretty much everywhere. And they will obviously, you know, they will obviously allow people to walk around. So I got them, you know, here and there. I guess I could add a couple more, but, you know, we don't want to make it too messy either. It is currently nighttime in the hatchery, and it's actually a nice little subtle detail right here that all of these pavement roads, or like these gravel roads that I've made right here, they actually do not have any lights on them. They do not have any lights on them at all, so the only lights that you see are from the industrial zones, or from some of the commercial zones and some of the farmers and whatnot, but also the cars. Everything else though, once you get into the actual meat of the city, I suppose, does have a massive amounts of light. On top of that, we also have the high school right here that still has, you know, these dedicated students that are just going in and out. You know, out of high school in the middle of the night. That is dedication right there. And this is what the hatchery actually looks like a little while later. Are we having people that use these gravel paths? Yes, they do. They most definitely do. This would actually be an area where I would like to live, you know? I'm not much of a farmer person myself, but I do like this quiet little areas, these rural areas with a lot of trees and stuff. So this is really, really nice. Obviously, there's still some empty places right here that can still be used, and will likely be used very shortly. But this is great. Oh, and we're actually now a boom town, which means that we can now unlock another area. We now have transportation, buses, and taxis. Taxis, are those new? I think they are. And we can now smoke weed. Yeah! No, not really, but we can. And we now have unlocked a ton of different roads as well. I think these are all from the mod that I activated, but that is amazing. Small busways, huh. I think I'm actually gonna be upgrading all of the roads that we got, you know, from this bridge area to a place where there's a separate lane for trees. Or for, not for trees rather, for... Oh, the space is already occupied, that's annoying, but for buses. So we'll likely have to remake some parts right here, but at the very least have a way for buses to get separately around the town. I think that would be really good. So now that we have the option to put down public transport, I'm definitely gonna decide to do so. Actually, the taxi support that's new. I've never made that. It may have been in the game for a little while longer. It works as a garage and there's a repair shop for taxi cabs between work shifts. Okay. They're pretty expensive though, so I can't use too many of them. And I'm not completely sure how far they will reach. But I'm gonna have to put down at least one or two. Oh, the first taxi has just left the building. Picking up passenger. Can we follow it? Hold on, hold on. Oh shit, I didn't mean to call you D. I'm sorry, taxi cab. Have a good one. I'll wait for the next. There we go. So he's picking up passenger Thomas Lee. Thomas Lee he's taking the taxi to high school? Wow. The Sunnyside residence is where he's heading right now. You better be living far away from the school if you're gonna take, you know, the taxi to high school. That is ridiculous, Thomas. Alright, to be fair, Thomas does live pretty far away. I have no idea where he's headed, but the high school is over there. And, I mean, he is going all the way. He is going all the way into the hatchery right now. But taking the taxi to school every day sounds like a very pricey thing to do. Alright, so I'm adding in a couple of the taxi stands right now as well. Those are basically places where the taxi drivers will wait if they have no one else to pick up for at least a little while. I guess we'll handle that in different parts of the city a little later. We'll add on... Well, do we need one more? I guess we can add on one more over here. Okay, the next order of business that we have to take care of as well are the bus depots. And I'm gonna have to be a little more careful with the bus depots because they are very expensive. And if you don't put them down and you don't make the lanes and whatnot properly, it actually does turn into a mess. I'm thinking right here would be a pretty good place. Alright, so I'm making different bus stops basically around the circles and whatnot. Instead of making them go everywhere like I did in my previous playthrough. Trying to be a little smarter about this. Okay, so there we go. I've connected the different parts of the city by buses now as well. I think this works very well. Should we add one in the middle of it as well? So like one that starts over here. And it's just like, you know, helping out the people that are living in the center of the city. That's probably good. And we'll add a separate one right here for the hatchery then as well. For these farmers to also be able to get, you know, around town. Visiting friends and family. Going to the bingo. Now the last thing that we will need to do as well, that we really haven't done yet in any of our playthroughs really of this game, is add on some playgrounds and parks and whatnot as well. Plaza with trees, we got a park with trees. I think I like the parks with trees more, but they're huge. Wow, they're actually really big. Okay, never mind. We're gonna go for small little parks. So that people will, you know, feel very cultural as well. And make sure that we up the house prices and whatnot significantly. Because that does help out a lot later on. As you can see, a lot of people are actually immediately very happy about it. Wow. Yeah, do you hear that sound? That's insane. Like, that is all people moving in. I guess people like parks. Who would have known? Do we add a park over here at the... Okay, fine. We'll add a park over here as well, because everyone's so happy. Listen to all these people moving in. Is that people moving in? I think it is. Alright, we'll add another park. Right next... right next to the dump site. That will do. Very smart thinking right here. Alright, and with all of these movings that I've been doing and all of these upgrades that I've made to the city, I think it is okay for me to up the taxes slightly. We'll see if the people are gonna be happy about this, but I think it's okay. We're gonna up it a bunch. We have increased the value of the houses by so much that I think this should be an okay deal. Do you think people will complain? So far they haven't. Ooh, there's a lot of dead people. What is going on? A dead person is waiting for transport. Do we have any kind of crematoriums at all, actually? I think I may have added some. Oh, we have no crematoriums in a city of 2,000 people. Yeah, that's not good. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't added a crematorium or like, you know, anything really. So you guys could, you know, bring your dead people and stuff. Where would we add that? What is a nice place for a crematorium? I think we found the spot. That'll make everyone happy, right? I'm sorry, guys. I didn't even consider that. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's only the commercial zones that are complaining about a little too high of a tax. Guys, here you go. I'm not that cruel. I'm not that cruel, and actually some of the other farmers as well. The farmers are complaining? Wow, alright, 13%. Final offer. I'm glad you guys agree. Okay, So I think the next order of business is to add on more residential zones. And I don't really want to do it over here. Because I think this is going to be something that we want to use for, you know, just other stuff. Where we don't really want to worry about that for now. What I do want to, we could actually make something over here as well. But let's have a look at the natural resources. We could make a foresting area over there if we really want to. There's a massive oil district right there. But I think what we want to do is just make like a... We could expand over here actually. I was considering going over there, but I think it may be better to go over here and just purchase this piece of land and continue building the area over there. I mean, we can actually purchase all of the land in this thing. I do have a mod available that allows me to do get all of this. So we have just purchased that bit of land, and now I'm gonna expand the city towards this area. We just have to worry about the natural resources. There's actually a lot of oil, so it doesn't matter too much if I... Yeah, if I spend some of this area on oil. I mean, we already built Pylon Park on a bunch of oil. But I think I do want to keep that free for the most part. Foresting or areas we can create ourselves. The other ones we cannot. So either we expand the hatchery once again, which is a fair enough thing to do, to be honest. Because I do like these farmers. I do really like that idea. Or we just build another massive area somewhere else instead. I think we're actually just gonna expand the hatchery all the way up to there, and they'll grow from there. Yeah, so we'll cut the corner right there, and then we'll go and see what else we need. But I'm gonna be deleting these roads right here at the very end of this, and then expand the area and see what happens. We'll just have to make sure that we have the trees that are naturally growing here, that we make sure that we follow those with the road as well. So I'm actually gonna sort of make my own little curvature right there. And pretend that all is good. That nobody has ever touched this area. I think we're just gonna mostly make sure that this is all gonna be residential zones once again. There we go, just brushing all of it in. Pretty much all of it actually, I don't really care. Guys, you can be residential zone if you want to. We can add on some commercial zones here as well. But mostly just residential. There we go, more commercial zones. Another commercial zone right here, a bunch of it over here. So everyone in this area can use it, but most of it just residential. So we can grow to at least 5,000 inhabitants. At which point we can start using the oil base that we created over there. Alright, so I did decide to add a 4-lane road right there because people are complaining about garbage over here already. And I think that's just mostly because they aren't reaching, and now they are. You know, as you can see, it's completely green. So I think this is a smart thing to do. Actually, oh, I think the reason why people are complaining was not so much the connection, but the fact that this one was full. Alright, we'll just add a second one then. And then start emptying this. Can we empty it? Alright, so I think it is time to unpause. We have added pretty much everything that was necessary here. And I think this should allow a lot of people to move in once again. I've added in a fire department and a extra medical clinic and whatnot as well. I've added it to the hatchery district, and this should all work out just fine. The only problem with adding in such a massive new zone right here is that the old industrial zone is in trouble because nobody's really working there anymore. Now I do want to start making this into an office place anyway, in a little bit, so I do plan on replacing all of it. We just need to get some more inhabitants for, you know, that to happen, and we are just slowly but surely growing the city. Soon we will also be unlocking the higher residential zones, so I think we may very well be replacing all of the lower residential zones of Pylon Park into higher residential zones. The same goes for, you know, the high density commercial zones and whatnot. So all of this is gonna be updated. I don't think we're gonna touch it, at least for the time being, and just go for, you know, expanding the city borders at least for now, and just keep on, you know, improving how big this area is. One thing we can do is add just some trees in here, because, you know, we're lacking a whole bunch. So this is what we got for Lowkopia 2.0 so far. I'm actually really starting to like this little city. I'm glad that this, you know, gravel, dirt, road type area of the hatchery is doing so extremely well. If you have any suggestions of what we should be building in the next episode, by all means, let me know. I'm thinking about just expanding maybe towards this area instead, because there's such a big zone, or such a big open place right here that we can use if we want to. Look at that massive place. Actually, there's a plane. But we may very well wait for this to, you know, be realized until we can actually zone it all in at once. So maybe we should actually be expanding somewhere else. But if you have any suggestions of what we should be doing in the next episode in order to get this city to 7,500 inhabitants, let me know down below in the comment section. But I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you get a notification when I upload another. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, and I'll see you in the next one.